first guests out, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? They're the stars of one of the funniest shows on TV, The Last Leg. It is, of course, Adam Hills, Alex Brooker and Josh Widdicombe. Here they are. The Last Leg. Do we have any Last Leg fans in the audience here? Great show. Congratulations. It's back on Channel 4 next week, I think.
It is indeed. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
One of the things I think which is especially impressive is the way you tackle subjects which some might consider tricky, difficult, sensitive, even taboo, in a funny way. And was that always the kind of idea going forward that you wanted to do that?
It was never really the plan. The plan was just to talk about the Paralympics and make everyone enjoy it. And then we realised that people feel a bit awkward talking about disability. And I think after the first show, we got a tweet from someone saying, is it OK to quite fancy some of the Paralympians? Because I think they're quite fit. And we were kind of thinking, well, why wouldn't you?
And so when you are talking about those issues then, do you find now that it's more relaxed, it's easier because you've established that as the tone of the show? Is it much easier for you? And are there still areas that you think you would have to pull away from, or...?
Oh, definitely. Every week there's something in the news that we now think, OK, we know we can deal with something tense, but we're not quite sure how we're going to cover this topic.
Yeah.
But I think Oscar Pistorius was the lead-in for us. Yeah. We had a chat in the office of, OK, if someone had broken into your house, if you thought someone had broken in, would you put your foot on before you went and confronted them?
The thing is, I'd have just... I don't know how... I'd have sent my wife. She's got a better chance on both her legs than me without mine on.
Yeah.
So if there's someone in the house, you crack on, love.
So you would...
I'm going to stay here. I'll protect the leg. I mean, when we started the Paralympics, I only had a 9-day contract with Channel 4 as a reporter. I was just happy
And the Paralympics was 10 days. That's how little time they had.
I was just happy to be on. I'd have talked about anything if they'd have wanted me to.
But if I may say this, you've been, let's face it, a surprise star of the show then, really, because, you know, you're a vital in part of it.
Yeah, I think I'm probably the best one.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So you took the guys, you just came back from, or a while back, you went to Australia, I know we just saw the show, you took the guys back to your homeland of Australia.
Yes.
For a short documentary series. Now, that was, I would have thought, a bold move, to take two men who don't strike me as being the most robust, outdoorsy
Well,
types.
I mean, looking at the size of me on that picture, I was certainly robust. No, it was horrible. Sydney was all right. Sydney's a lovely, glorious place. The middle of it, right off.
What, Australia itself?
Just the middle of it is just flies, heat. Oh, it's, you know, it was horrible, wasn't it?
Yep.
You know, toilets, something as simple
Yeah, you
as going to the toilet.
shouldn't be scared of your own toilet, Jonathan.
No.
You know, you just go to, you know, a service station here. What's the worst you're going to get? You're going to have someone's
maybe,
number and he was here written on the toilet.
Yeah.
There, I mean, you're checking under the seat for spiders. I mean, they're not cobwebs. It's like cross-stitch. All in the corners. It's just... You couldn't settle.
But anyway, it's nice to broaden the mind with travel, isn't it?
Yeah. So was this the effect you were hoping that your country would have on your visitors?
It was, how neither of them were killed. Yeah. By
you?
Me. I've never seen... I mean, we got to Sydney Airport and went to the business lounge, because then we were flying on to Darwin, and Alex checked under the toilet seats in the airport for spiders.
You've got to be thorough.
Yeah. So these are spiders that can kill you, though, aren't they?
You can, yeah. You can get a...
Well, then you're saying, like, we shouldn't be checking on the toilets just because you're...
They've got a ridiculous... It's like everything's like, yeah, don't worry about that snake, it'll be all right. It's not all right. It's a snake, you know, and it's like we saw this crocodile. It's like, yeah, don't worry. I mean, if you know, it won't hurt you. Yes, it will. If it's not tied up, if I was just stood here, it would hurt me.
Honestly, you should have seen his hands before we went.
Well, you got very close to this crocodile.
I got carried away. I was in Australia. It was our first day. There were rangers pulling crocodiles out of traps in rivers. These two were standing 5 metres away going, I can't believe the flies. I'm like, there's a 2.5-metre crocodile here, forget the flies. And then one of the rangers said, we need someone to sex it. We need to work out if it's a male or female. So it was my job to sex the crocodile.
And this is done how exactly?
By inserting a finger into its bottom.
Can I just be clear, by sex a crocodile, he means check the sex, not... sex a crocodile.
Yeah, Alex misheard. He thought I was going to sext a crocodile. Send a sexy text message.
You're gorgeous. Those teeth. All right, let's have a look. This is a clip of the fellas when they were in Australia, the last leg down under. This has already gone out, but I'm sure you can find it on one of the many, many catch-up services. Here you go.
OK, you can leave the gate up. Here. Keep pulling, pull.
We're doing it.
You can come down close and look now if you want to.
I mean, it's a lovely offer, Tom.
I don't see it in the wide context of nature.
Oh, I just have to sex it, Leah.
Oh, my God.
Lick it.
That's the same one.
Oh, I used the pinky last time.
So you feel like it's
You went, whoa, before you went straight away, you made a real meal of that.
Do you know the worst thing about that? Is you just sexted another crocodile.
Yeah.
So that finger was going back in the mouth.
You're like a crocodile sex pest.
He'd done 2 in a day. You're like keeping up a little tally, wouldn't you?
I used the pinky for the first one, because it was a smaller crocodile, and then I used that one for the second one. Do you know the worst bit? The worst bit for me was an hour later when we had lunch and I was eating a sandwich and realised, oh, I haven't washed my hands. And I said to one of the rangers, I haven't washed my hands. She went, don't worry, I do it all the time.
Wow.
It's a thing.
OK, well, let's go back to what you've achieved then, because... let's put a very positive spin on this. Because I think your work on TV, and certainly the way that you helped, obviously, I think everyone was excited by the Paralympics when it happened, and it got a large audience, I think, and a great degree of support than people expected. But do you think it's changed the way we perceive the Paralympics itself? Do you think that your work on TV has changed in some small way that people approach people with disability, the way they engage with the subject?
It's changed the way I think about my own disability, because I always had a fairly bland prosthetic. It was painted like the rest of my skin colour, and I always kept it hidden.
And when you first started doing comedy, you never even referred to it, did you?
No, I didn't. Yeah. No, it took me like 13 years of doing stand-up before I mentioned it on stage. But then since the Paralympics, I had it painted. I was quite happy to have it out in the open. And now, this is a new one that I got in the last couple of months.
I thought you had... It looks like a double shoe on from here. It looks
it's one of those blades. They fitted a blade.
Holy schmuck.
Yeah.
But is that... So that's like a scabbard it's in, is that why?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's...
The thing with me and you, I think it's got to a stage it's like trying to get one better than the other. So he had a leg which was painted.
Yeah.
Then I got one that had hairs on. I was like, you ain't going to beat that. It's got hair on it. And then the other day he comes in, he's like, oh, have you seen my new leg? It's a blade. And it's just like, ah. Yeah. It's just going to come to a stage where in a couple of years' time, one of us will just walk into the room and go, yeah, have you seen my new leg? Yeah, it's a real one. But the Paralympics were good because, like, when I was younger, I didn't see any disabled people.
Well, there were none on TV at all.
Yeah.
No,
and it was... So it is nice sometimes, I mean, after the old crocodile thing, I don't think we're going to get as many of these tweets, but it is nice when people say, you've made us feel better about our disability.
Yeah.
and you know yourself, the movie Kingsman featured a character with double blades, which was an amazing... I mean...
But, you know, there was some... In the interest of full disclosure, my wife wrote the script for that, and I know that they were concerned at the time, and I know since they've been a bit worried, because there was a very good advert on Channel 4 showing a bunch of people with various disabilities, and they were saying, look, we're kind of always the villain in movies.
Oh, yeah, right.
So my wife was saying, well, maybe we shouldn't have done that. I'm interested in your opinion, whether or not, because there is that thing where, still perhaps, because there is a sort of otherness about people who are different in some way, maybe it's an easy thing to go to when people want to make someone seem a bit sinister. You know what I mean? Do you find that, or do you think the media's changed in relation to that?
I think it's quite nice just to see some prosthetics in the films. I just thought it was... At no point did I think, oh, no, not another villain.
Yeah.
I thought it was right. I remember in one of the X-Men films recently, Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones was in it, and he's in a film which is all about mutants, and at no point in the whole of that X-Men film did they mention that he's a dwarf himself.
Yeah.
And I was really, like, quite surprised by it.
Yeah.
So he was in it as his own right, and it's never even mentioned, so it's good, I think.
Would you rather be referred to as mutants? Would that be a cooler kind of phrase?
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
That's like, you know, he's missing a leg, but maybe flames come out of his arse. You'd think twice before leaving your car in a mutant parking space.
I dread to think how... You would. I've never done that, by the way.
I know there's a new Kingsman film coming out.
Yeah.
I know it's being written. I know your wife's involved.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm available. The blade's
Well,
here.
could you do action stuff? You used to be a fit guy, didn't you? I know that. You used to play a lot of tennis. I don't know.
You used to be a fit guy.
No, I mean, I don't know if you've kept up the fitness.
I used to do gymnastics, so I can still pull off a bit of a... I can still pull off a cartwheel / backflip type thing.
You used to do gymnastics?
Did you?
You kept that quiet, Olga Corbett.
Funny enough, that's never come up.
Reason being, actually, was because when I was born, after a few years, the doctor said to my parents, look, you
Just roll him down a hill. It'll be fine.
They said get him involved in some kind of gymnastics because it'll help coordination and that kind of stuff. So I can still do a little bit of a...
Wow.
So I could do, you know, I could do a backflip and
So
take
if we
out
were to set something up and we would ask you to demonstrate, you could do that?
Yeah.
Sure, I think... Do you think it's worth... Do we have the time to do that? Let's see if we can get something organised. We've got a mannequin set up over there, ready to go, and you are going to, I guess, are you going to... What's the word? You unsheath it? You unveil it?
OK, so there's the prosthetic, there's the blade.
Where's the blade? Let's see it.
Do you want me to take the whole...
off?
I'll take the whole... OK.
This is going to be brilliant. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You've
Oh,
already
man,
lost
so
a
there's
leg.
the blade underneath. That's fascinating. So...
Wait a minute, do you wear a sock on a fake leg? Yes. What's the point of that?
Also...
Absolutely no sweat. Absolutely.
Imagine as well, one of them wears out round the front a bit quicker than the other one, doesn't it?
No, I get 2 days wear out of them because I swap them at the end of it.
Come on. Going on holiday.
Can I just say, that is the lamest high five that's ever happened.
Technically, it was a 7.
So...
Unbelievable. The Paralympic legacy ruined.
Yeah. So, Adam, you're going to try and cartwheel over and attack that mannequin.
OK.
Would you like a drum roll? Would you like the audience to go, do it, something like that?
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
The cartwheel. None of us could do that.
You should have licked your finger beforehand to make it right.
Now Alex is going to go and sex the dummy for us. They're going to stick with us, ladies and gentlemen. We say thank you with me for their splendid company. Of course, it's Alex, it's Josh, it's Adam, it's the last leg. Thank you, guys. Still to come.